Hello and welcome to the news. Our first story tonight is electric cars. Are they really better for the environment compared to combustion cars? Public perception of electric cars is that they are eco-friendly and have zero emissions. But where is the electricity coming from and how is it affecting the environment?
Carbon dioxide is the primary fossil fuel emitted through human activities. Fossil fuels like carbon dioxide, methane, water, nitrous oxide, ozone, and CFCs in the atmosphere reflect long-wave radiation, or heat, from escaping the Earth. This is called the greenhouse effect. It is a natural process that warms our planet. Climate change is the human impact on the climate, or regional weather conditions over a long period of time. Anthropogenic impacts have raised the average global temperature 0.6 degrees Celsius over the last 100 years. Carbon in the atmosphere has a strong correlation with average global temperature. Current carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere is over 400 parts per million.
We now know that the transportation we use every day has a negative impact on our environment. You might think that a solution to this is electric cars. But have you ever taken the time to wonder where the electricity comes from to power those beautifully green vehicles? All methods of electricity production release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. When looking at the statistics for global electricity production, coal is the leading energy source at 40.7%, followed by natural gas at 21.6%, and then renewable energy at only 6%. The amount of carbon dioxide that these three energy sources produce varies greatly. Coal-burning power plants emit 950 grams of carbon dioxide per kilowatt an hour, while natural gas-fired power plants emit 350 grams of carbon dioxide per kilowatt an hour. Renewable energy sources like solar, wind, and tide emit close to no carbon dioxide.
The grams of CO2 per kilowatt hour of electricity production is different compared to where the electricity is produced. Globally, there is an average of 462.9 grams of CO2 produced per kilowatt hour of electricity. Now let's compare combustion engines to electric cars. A petrol car on average emits 22.96 grams of CO2 into the atmosphere per kilometer on the road. An electric car on average consumes 0.1 kilowatt hour of electricity per kilometer on the road. For average global energy emissions, an electric car would emit 46.29 grams of CO2 into the atmosphere per kilometer on the road. A survey of 47 people from the University of Canterbury community showed the lack of public knowledge of how electricity is produced in areas of the world. Only 27.7% of people knew what percentage of world electricity comes from renewable energy sources, and 21.3% of people knew what percentage of the world electricity comes from coal. The survey concluded approximately 1/4 of people knew about general global electricity production. The public needs to know how their energy is produced and what it means to the environment.
So, what can you do with this new information? Be more aware that electric cars are not completely emission-free, and they are still negatively affecting the environment. You can cut down your emissions by doing things like carpooling, taking public transportation, riding a bike, or walking places. Also support the production of renewable energy sources being used. This reduces the amount of coal-burning power plants.